So very good morning once again, and we're starting our morning with a very power-packed session today. We've got Sushant here, who's joined us from Starbucks, and honestly, if I've seen somebody as a brand building the right culture for coffee in India, it's been Starbucks. They've really brought the whole movement of coffee to India. Not only have they expanded themselves and really touched the corner and pretty much every mile of the country, which they're working towards as well. It's WIP. But at the same time, what they've done is given a lot of opportunity and probably to reach out and build a larger coffee culture in India as a whole. Sushant, I'm going to ask you this first question, that not just in India, but globally we have seen that, whenever Starbucks sets foot into a country and when they start expanding and opening stores in a country, a whole coffee culture is built. So, how do you make that possible? And how do you bring that real culture and, a home out of home kind of feeling for people to step into a coffee shop and really enjoy that cup of the beverage out there, the brew?
Right. I think you're right. I think Starbucks has done this again and again. It did it first in the US, and then as the brand moved, today I think the brand is available across 100 plus markets, and they have done it again and again in various parts of the world. I think the trick to it is by keeping it simple, to doing the basics right. And I think, as Howard said, it's about Starbucks is not just about coffee. People come for the coffee, but they stay back for the connection, for the warmth. So it's about the third place experience. It's the overall experience that you create. And to do that, I think at the core of what we do is obviously give possibly the best coffee in terms of the top 3% Arabica, coffee that is sourced in a sustainable manner, crafted in a manner that is consistent across. You can have a Starbucks at any place in the world and it will taste the same in the sense in terms of the quality, in terms of the taste. And that is what helps to grow the coffee culture. But at the end of the day, it is also about our partners who then bring that warmth and connection when you get into the coffee shop. And like with every other category, I think the culture happens first out of home. People, get into a new category first out of home, then it comes to their offices, and then hopefully to their homes. And while we are a tea drinking nation and penetration of coffee is still, very, very low as compared to tea. Tea is 91, 92%. Coffee is 15, 16% in terms of penetration. Hopefully we will see one day where coffee matches the tea penetration. So a lot of headroom.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned the number of about 16% being the coffee penetration in India. So there is really a long way to go when it really comes to building the real coffee culture in India. So given the fact that, as you said, it's 16% and then there's a big opportunity. So what kind of ambitious plans have you drawn to reach out to the customers and take the 16% to maybe a 40% in the next few years? And do you also sort of see an opportunity in B2B with having Starbucks coffee being served in hotels or restaurant tie-ups, or do you see, and I know it happens globally for Starbucks, but where do you see this growing in India?
Right. I think in terms of ambition right now, we actually are around 470 stores already. We are present in more than 70 towns. And if you see, we have actually done that over the last 3 years. In 3 years back, we were around 200 stores. We were present in maybe the top 20 cities of the country. So in the last 3 years, we have expanded quite rapidly. We have more than doubled our growth in terms of the number of outlets. And as I said, in terms of cities, we used to be in the top 20 odd cities, but today we are there in most of tier 1 and tier 2 cities. We are there in places like Raipur, Bhubaneswar, Jammu. We have just opened Patna, Jamshedpur and Ranchi. So we are expanding and will continue to expand. I think we have actually stated our ambition saying that we will do 1,000 stores
that needs a round of
by
applause,
2028. My team is not too happy about it, but we have already stated it in media, so we'll try and make it.
And the B2B presence are also sort of...
So I think right now we are concentrating on the retail. I think it's important that we first establish the brand. We first get the coffee culture going, as you mentioned, give people the right experience. I think globally, Starbucks does do B2B and it's very strong in B2B in many markets. But I think in India, right now, the concentration is to get
On the
the
B2C
on the B2C side, get the consumer used to coffee, used to the Starbucks experience, and do it right and do it well. I think once we have reached a critical mass, and then we'll think about B2B.
Sure. And having said that, are you also bringing your newer concepts to India? I mean, I remember seeing this Reserve and Roastery in New York, which is like a massive store, I think on the Fifth Avenue or one of those avenues there. So do you also plan to bring these concepts to India, these store formats to India at this point of time, or maybe in the later years?
No, I think the good thing about India and the consumer is, we have consumers across all spectrum. While coffee penetration is still low, but many of the consumers are highly evolved and they actually want coffee forward stores or they are exposed to specialty coffees. So you cannot do one or the other, and that's the challenge in any category in India. You have to cater to different segments. So in terms of store formats, we have all the store formats already present in India. We actually have our first Reserve store, which we opened last year, which is actually in Mumbai in Horniman Circle. So that's a Reserve store which has got specialty coffee. But we continue to also innovate in terms of store formats. We opened our first pet-friendly store in Jaipur the month before. We opened our first store in a metro, which is a metro store for the commuters in, again, Mumbai last month. We have drive-thrus. As I said, we have the Reserve store. We opened our first experiential stores and in Punjabi Bagh in Delhi and Dhanraj Mahal here in Mumbai. And the experiential stores are actually a new format, which is very India-specific. So they are like the Reserve store, which is coffee forward, so you can choose from 13 espresso beans, handcrafted. But they also bring Indian flavors and Indian craftsmanship to the fore. So for example, you have a Sikanji cold brew, you have a Peru cold brew, you have a Malabar latte, Malabar coconut cream latte. So the idea is also to look at what is relevant to the Indian consumer and marry that with what the brand globally stands for. And that's what we're trying to do, even in terms of format.
So basically, you're doing a lot of Indian origin brews out here, the Malabar latte, as you said, and So, are you also doing food pairing, which is akin to what the Indian palate likes, and that goes well with the brews? So, do you sort of marry these together?
That's absolutely right. Actually, we started with the food. If you look at it in terms of the food philosophy that we have now been trying to do for the last few years, is you have the global favorites, like you have your muffins and you have your cookies and you have your croissants. You then have what we call as the national favorite. So you will have, your paneer tikka roll, or you will have your sheikh kebab, some bun. But now we have also gone hyper local. So what we do is, so for example, in Cochin we have the Malabari egg roast turnover. We actually have the thecha swirl in Mumbai. And in Calcutta, we have the Koshamangso roll. So, because Indians love the Indian flavor and food. So, if you want to establish yourself and create that empathy and that brand love, then I think you need to do both. You need to bring the global favorites. You need to do what the brand stands for globally, but do it in a manner that connects with the Indian consumer. I think that is what will create the culture. That is what will create the brand. So, yeah.
And do you see these pairings working in in the original avatar when you look at India and Bharat together? So, I mean, obviously you created for some